Get ready to party like it's 1999 in Drive Away Dolls, written and directed by Ethan Coen, who, along with his brother Joel Coen, not to be confused with Joel Hodgson, who lives in the not-too-distant future next Sunday AD. He is a man named Joel, not too different from you or me. There are no bots, no mad scientists, there's no invention exchange, there's just movie sign, because this is a movie named Drive Away Dolls. It would have certainly been interesting if MST3K was able to review this. Maybe Riff Tracks can do a commentary for this and add some laughs to it. Okay, let's actually get back to what Drive Away Dolls is. First, I gotta talk about Ethan Coen. Ethan Coen and Joel Coen have collaborated and done a bunch of other baited stuff when it comes to movies like Raising Arizona that was really goddamn great and helped launch Nicolas Cage's career up and up and up and up and higher and higher and higher, and then we let it drop. Probably shouldn't have referenced that particular stand-up. If you know, you know. Fargo, oh yeah, The Wood Chipper, oh yeah. That was certainly a movie that some people liked and some people thought was just not funny. Guess which camp I fall in, even though I liked the cast. The Big Lebowski, The Dude Abides, Oh Brother Where Art Thou, one of my favorite roles that George Clooney has ever done. I mean, honestly, I fucking love George Clooney in that movie. He's so goddamn great. When he is at the peak of his powers, he is so goddamn great. And he's able to be self-defecating. Maybe not. Maybe that's wrong. But Oh Brother Where Art Thou was great. The movie was just absolutely messed up and just got so weird and bizarre and humorous and everything. And then the opening credits stopped and then the movie kept going. It was really good, though. I need to rewatch that at some point. Intolerable Cruelty. Speaking of George Clooney, that was on the lower end of the Coen tier. It did have Catherine Zeta-Jones. Whatever happened to her, by the way? She just dropped off the face of the goddamn earth. She was fucking gorgeous. Couldn't do an American accent to save her life. The Haunting proved that. But anyway, No Country for Old Men. Javier Bardem deserved way more praise than he got for that, even though I think he pretty much got a bunch of awards and accolades and everything for that. And Javier Bardem was great, and so was the rest of the cast. A great goddamn movie. Bleak and bloody and brutal. I love it. Need to rewatch it at some point. And True Grit, the 2010 version. I don't really know who asked for a revamp of True Grit, but nevertheless. Also, Trisha Cook had something to do with writing this movie. She's credited on IMDb, and she's done editor and other work for other movies. Good. Keep busy. That's always great. So, this centers around two women that happen to be best friends and also lesbians. And if you have a problem with anybody in the LGBTQ community, I don't fucking care. Go. Stop. Get your bigoted ass out of here. Margaret Qualley, who was in Sanctuary, one of my favorite movies of last year. That's the daughter of Andie MacDowell, and you can see where she gets the acting chops. You can also see where she gets the looks. She's Andie MacDowell. She looks great. Margaret Qualley has her. She's able to carve her own path, but you can see that she is absolutely her daughter, her mother's daughter. I was going to figure out a way to screw that up. She plays Jamie, who has an insane Texas twang. So much so that I think even some Texans might say, that's a bit much, honey. There are a couple people from Texas that are going to be watching this. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I will make sure to not make any jokes about the Von Erich. I will not take any shots at the Von Erichs, because they already did that for themselves. Deep cut for wrestling fans. They're going to hate me here. So, and then you have Suki. You have Beanie Feldstein, who was in Lady Bird and also Booksmart. She is she's an associate, shall we say. She's an ex-girlfriend of Jamie. And then you have Marianne. Geraldine, I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce her last name. She was in Blockers. She actually seems delightful in interviews, I do want to say. And you have various other people in this. C.J. Wilson, Joey Slotnick. Boy, that name wouldn't be abused at all. Slotnick. Coleman Domingo, who's been in Bear Stuff. Pedro Pascal, who's been in Bear Stuff. Bill Kemp, Matt Damon, and a few other people. So yeah, this is the typical brand of Coen comedy, where there's dark comedy, there's a little bit of horror, there's a little bit of, yeah, boy, I didn't really know what the fuck they were thinking of with that, but this basically is just throwing a bunch of stuff at everybody for about 80 minutes, and Jamie and Marianne decide to go on a trip to Tallahassee. Marianne has family there. Jamie decides to take off with, because she's more the free spirit. Marianne is the very reserved type that you know just when you get the character, by the way, I'm not saying the actress, but the character, you get the character behind closed doors, and yeah, there could be some fun there. I've known girls like that. Nevertheless, enough about my dating life that hasn't existed for a while. They have some unexpected cargo from a car that they pick up. And then they are pursued by people that want that cargo back. Okay, so yes, this is apparently set in 1999, at least according to the dialogue that we get. And we just get dialogue and jokes and rapid fire stuff thrown at us and weird trippy images and everything. And Ethan Coen certainly did some stuff in this. Just a shame that none of it was funny. This was one of the least funny comedies I have seen in a while, and I know what to expect from a Coen Brothers movie. Or a Coen movie, even if it's just one of them. Because again, Raising Arizona, I like. Fargo, didn't necessarily care for. Big Lebowski. Probably need to go back and rewatch at some point. I quote it sometimes, but I probably need to go back. Oh, Brother Martha, I praised some of their other comedies. The thing is I don't really know what the fuck they were thinking here. And there's good chemistry between Jamie and Marianne. Some pretty good stuff. There's elements of stuff that could work here, and I guess there's stuff that if you just don't take it seriously, you could have some fun with the bonkers stupidity of it. The problem is none of the characters are really all that funny, even though these actors in particular can be funny. None of the dialogue hits. It all lands with a resounding thud. I don't think any of the trippy parts, any of the sexual stuff is really all that great, quite frankly. This feels almost like a retread of better stuff that the Coen brothers have done. And I'm disappointed because the LGBTQ representation was definitely a carrot that was just dangled and tantalized right in front of us. And then we found out the carrot was rotted on the inside. What's up, Dak? What's up, cock, is what I could have said, but I'm just going to roll with it right there. Picture what you thought I would have said with a dangling carrot in front of my face being tantalized in the comments, please. Now, the thing is this movie just isn't funny. I'm sorry, it's just not. And I actually was actively getting annoyed with it because the more the characters kept talking and fast, it got irritating because they were trying to hide the fact that none of the jokes were good. None of the jokes were good. Even though this is a talented guy, none of these jokes hit at all. And when the reveals happened, it was somehow even more. Pedro, I don't know what the fuck he was thinking here. He doesn't take himself seriously, so nevertheless. But he was wasted in this. Everybody else was wasted in this. I think the people that put this movie together were probably wasted. It kind of makes sense. And it has that typical Coen Brothers weird camera work stuff where sometimes it's tight in and then it's like at a weird angle and all that. And that's fine if you have a movie that's entertaining. They don't. It doesn't overstay its welcome. But at the same time, it also feels stretched out. It feels like it's half-baked in every conceivable way. Even though there is a nice, neat little romance that happens a little bit later on, the two henchmen that are pursuing Jamie and Marianne, it's just not funny. The guy that plays Curly, he has been funny and stuff before, who rents the car, but this just feels like a movie where they really were trying too hard and it didn't work. It wasn't easy going. They tried too hard to basically hide the fact that they didn't have any material. It was half-baked. And I'm not talking about the, that comedy with the SNL guy whose name escapes me right now. Jim Brewer, that was it. That idiot. So yeah, I'm going to get into spoilers. I did a double feature with this and stop motion. Check out my review of that. Yeah, it's in theaters if you want to check it out, but this will probably be on streaming pretty goddamn soon. Nevertheless, 3, 2, 1, spoilers. Okay, so what did they find in this briefcase that Pedro Pascal had? Or Pascal, or Pastel. And what was this bag, or this little duffel thing that they found, or this little carry case with, like, a bowling ball? It was Pedro's head on ice in the back of this car. The briefcase, by the way, I'll talk about here in a little bit. I do have to say that, Beanie, who actually could be funny and has been funny in Booksmart and was good in Lady Bird, and Lady Bird is a movie you absolutely need to check out. She was trying to go for broke here, but she wasn't given much to do. There was a really yippy dog that I'm glad was okay. The dog's fine, by the way. Could have said that in the beginning. And there was rap, as our Lord and Savior Dr. Dre once said. But yeah, the LGBTQ influence was great. I just wish it was in a better movie. So yeah, they end up finding in this briefcase, they end up finding a case full of dildos. 5 dildos made by a flower child. I'm going to leave who the flower child is for those of you that want to see it. Some people laughed in the theater. I just rolled my eyes because I don't particularly care for this person. And if you know, you know. I don't think they're talented as far as musically. I'll say that much. Matt Damon is a senator, and it turns out Matt Damon, during his hippie days, had a mold. It turns out this person made a mold of his cock and turned it into a dildo, and it was 5 dildos of various powerful people now. And this stuff could ruin them and expose them. So yeah, the two henchmen get in a fight, by the way, a little bit later after Jamie and Marion get captured. But first they get it on because they realize that they like each other. Jamie wants to help loosen her up. And boy, does she ever. And it would be sweet if the movie actually was even halfway good. This movie almost feels like it was trying to be outlandish like Bottoms, but didn't work at all. And Ethan Coen maybe has lost his touch. Possibly. But after the henchmen have a fight, one of them just goes absolutely insane, shoots Coleman Domingo for no reason. It's so racist. As usual, the black guy dies whenever. And then he goes nuts. And then Jamie and Marion manage to get the other dildo back after using it in the shower. The Senator Matt Damon, as it were. And then they extort him for some money. And then he tries to rob him outside of the lesbian bar. I'll just say that. There are certain words that it's okay for lesbians to say, not me. I'm just saying. It's okay for them to say it. I don't feel comfortable saying that stuff. Matt Damon tries to rob them, and then, Beanie's character uses the gun because she's a cop, and ends up shooting him, and then he's caught in a scandal, and now they have this money, and they take off to see Marion's aunt. That's why they went to Tallahassee, and it turns out she's super religious, and they decide they're going to go back to Massachusetts because women can get married there. Because why not? And the aunt isn't necessarily, it's like, oh, well, that's certainly something. There were, more creative words that were used in some of these pieces of dialogue, and I just didn't give a shit. Because well before they got to the reveal of what was in the briefcase, I was checked out. And then I was just like, okay, this is eye-rollingly stupid. Now they're just trying for shock value. They're just trying to, we're going to assault you with jokes. It's not funny. It's not funny. It gets an F, I'm sorry. Margaret Qualley's great. Geraldine V, that much I'll say. Because I don't want to screw up her last name. She can be funny. And there are funny people in the rest of the cast here, but this was bad. This was really, really bad. This felt like they edited it with garden shears and just pieced things together and threw it out in theaters. It feels like there's a director's cut with about 20 to 30 minutes more of footage that might work. You don't care about any of these characters. You barely care about the main characters. It gets an F. Sorry. Agree, disagree, what I said. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.